Welcome traders. In this video we're going to go over a strategy that I developed in about an hour last night, and that strategy ended up yielding a pretty nice 79.3% win rate going back to July 1st. And I did this in only about an hour using the BloodHound software. Kind of want to demonstrate it now. I've had several customers ask about the BloodHound upgrade, and one of the things that I do is I provide the BloodHound template to you so that you're not going to have to go and recreate the wheel and get this template all over again for yourself. The one thing I don't do is I don't support anything else that BloodHound does. I only support what my software is going to do. BloodHound has a lot of capabilities that can be used, and I don't support all of those capabilities, only the capabilities that my software is going to use. Okay, so what we're looking at now is we're looking at a typical chart with the BloodHound racing stripes engaged with the strategy that I created. But down on the bottom, you're going to see something new, and that something new is a histogram. What the histogram is doing is it's recording the value of the ratio as each tick progresses. So basically what that's telling me is the ratio increasing or is it decreasing as price is going either higher or lower. The reason I want to know this is because if the ratio is decreasing, that is telling me that there's less support as price is trading in that direction. So it's less likely that there is an accumulation or a distribution. If the ratio is increasing, just the opposite. That's giving me information that I want to understand that will go into my decision to make the trade. An example of that is this trade here, where we see that the ratio started at about a 100 value and then increased to the ultimate value of 154. Now that's a good sign, and that's what we want to see. But originally, when the ratio started and the new zigzag formed right here, this is where we got our first ratio, and it was above 100, probably about 130, and then we saw it's pretty stable. Price traded down, and then price traded back up. Well, when the next higher tick formed right here, the ratio had fallen significantly from a high of about 140 down to just about 100. So that's telling us something, and it's telling us something very important, that the seller density was less, and that would give me the idea that price would be going higher. But then as the ratio increased, as price went higher, that's telling me that I have resistance. And one other comment about the histogram. The histogram isn't going to be available for release. The reason I can't release this is that the indicator wasn't rewritten by my programmer. And in order to make it work, there were changes made to the divergence indicator. Now, the divergence indicator itself is working fine, but the changes made don't allow it to be saved on a template. So that's a significant issue, and every time that you would load a chart, you'd have to put the divergence indicator back on the chart and reset all of its parameters. So for that reason, I'm choosing not to release it until the programmer can make the script work and work perfectly. The test histogram won't work unless the changes are made to the divergence indicator. Okay, so let's look at the strategy that I created. And I want to emphasize that this is not a completed trading strategy. I've given this basically a 2-point stop, and the definition of a win is that we create a new zigzag. So basically we get about 2 3/4 points out of the trade. But that's after allowing the order flow to confirm the entry here. So I'm using a combination of order flow and price patterns along with the ratio that you see here. So the third part of the equation is that we have a ratio of at least 100. And if we have a ratio of 100 along with a combination of a price pattern along with the combination of a order flow pattern, then we have a trade. So over the period of about a little over 2 weeks, we had a total of 63 entries and 50 were successful. What I've done is I put the successful ones, I've circled those in green, and if there was no entry to be made, I circled that in blue. Now, as you can see here, we were given a green racing stripe telling us we were good to go on this bar right here. So why didn't I circle that and either make it a win or make it a loss? Well, the one thing that I don't want to do is I don't want to get involved in a strong trend reversal. And I've eliminated the strong trend reversals as a signal that I want to look at. So that's just another piece of that pie. And again, part of the reason that this isn't a ready to trade strategy. What you should be doing is you should also be analyzing whether or not it is profitable to be trading this with any strong trend. Although I found that a regular strong trend appeared to be profitable. Now, one of the other really interesting things about BloodHound, and part of the reason that it should be part of your trading software, is that I went and I made a change to the strategy. And the change to the strategy was that instead of looking at a 5 range order flow bar, I looked at a 4 range order flow bar. And a 4 range order flow bar is going to get you into a trade quicker. And also, once you're in that trade, your stop can be a little bit closer. So in a period of about 20 minutes, I made one single change to BloodHound and was able to find out that the trading ratio was exactly the same. Now, all the trades were not the same trades. There were trades that were taken and won, trades that were taken and lost, but overall the percentage was the same. So that just highlights part of the benefit of having BloodHound. Now, I'm just going to scroll through these trades so that you can see them, and I'm not really going to provide very much commentary. If you'd like to see an individual trade, just go ahead and pause the video. I'm going to put the data box up there so you can see roughly the date and time for any particular trade. One thing I'd like to point out while I'm on these trades is that one of the things that I noticed is that the trades immediately following a strong trend where a good ratio number was put in, such as occurring right here. In the following trade, as price comes down and tests this, which is a broken reversal pattern, and then we had order flow to go with that broken reversal pattern as shown by the green racing stripe. These were also extremely profitable trades, but because they didn't fit the definition of being at or around 100 on the ratio, I didn't include them. But again, it's something that should be included and looked at in any type of trading plan. In this short trade up here, I marked it even though the ratio was just a 96 because that was close enough for me, and it followed the pattern that I had just talked about, where we had been in a strong trend with a good number, and then we followed it up immediately with a order flow and price pattern, in this case a typical exhaustion trade. And since it was close enough to 96, I went ahead and took that trade. Here again is that same pattern where we had entered a strong trend and the pattern immediately followed it. It gives us 4 or 5 points. Here's another one right here. This time we did have a ratio of 100 or more, so I went ahead and noted that. I also took this trade as a loss, although by the point we were here, we were already this was already being defined as a strong trend. So that you understand, not every trade is something that you have to take just because you have a ratio that is 100 or more. And as you can also see from the histogram down here, after price had originally traded, the ratio went up and then the ratio was coming back down as price was going higher. Here's a trade I'd like to highlight where we were in a strong trend reversal. We entered a reversal pattern here, and then it was followed by a no supply divergence signal here. And as you can see, we had a very good result after that trade. Whether or not you took it from here or maybe even added to that trade here, it all worked out good. One of the other features about the new software, and you're seeing this basically live along with a successful short trade here on the open, is that this number right here is updating what the current ratio and the current KP2 and KP3 numbers are live. Now what's different is that the original version the programmer gave me did not have the live ratio number. So one of the things that was done to make this to give me a little bit more information is to add in the live ratio number. And again, unfortunately, adding in that live ratio number is what causes the template to not, is what causes the indicator not to be accepted in a template, making it much more difficult to use on a daily basis unless you are very committed. So I'd like to thank you for watching this video, and if you have any questions, please be sure to give me a call. If you are interested in the BloodHound upgrade, the cost is $395 through PayPal, and you can find that order on the lifetime license purchase screen. And again, if you have any questions, give me a call and we'll go over that. Thanks. Have a good day.